Today, as you can see, the video doesn't actually have any quick introduction or like an intro video at the start. It's just purely me going straight right into it. I feel like intro videos they waste time. I don't really see the point of them today. It's just useless. I prefer getting straight to the nitty gritty and getting straight to the point. Okay, so I've been away for a very long time. I got faster internet now, so I can upload a lot more frequently. So that's really sweet and nice. Okay, so the one thing, guys, I really want to talk about is some of the trades that I took this week, and also the trades that are coming ahead of us. Okay, and I'm going to show you one of the key strategies that I use in my trading all the time. And this thing has actually allowed me to make up to 11% in a week sometimes, 8% sometimes, or more. So yeah, let's get started in this video. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to go on my Twitter. So I use Twitter a lot as a trader. As a fundamental trader, I definitely recommend you guys to get a Twitter account, because you can follow some of the key big investors, or economists, financial strategists that specifically focus on Forex, or specifically focus on equities, or specifically focus on commodities. But I personally have my own FX and analyst page. I treat this Twitter as like a journal, really and truly. I use it like a journal, and it's like an open journal. But I will be privatizing it soon, to be honest with you, just to keep it all to myself, so I can easily get access to information if I have to read something that I wrote, or any notes that I took, or any fundamental news that was reported by a certain company. It could be Bloomberg, or it could be a financial source, or it could be Forex Live. I can just retweet it, so I can just go back on my profile and read it. So I find that very, very useful. Okay. So one of the trades I really want to talk about that I took this week was Canadian Japanese yen. That was the trade of the week that I did last week. And I'm just looking at this video and I'm finding it funny because the GBP just dropped crazy. But I'm still pretty much bullish on it. So let's take a look at the trade that I took. Okay, you can see I retweet a lot of stuff. Okay, let me scroll lower. Okay, so I made about 9%, but in total I really made 11%. So that's when I screenshot this trade. It was at 9%, and then I closed it at 11%, which was at a level of strong resistance on the Canadian JPY on the daily time frame. So this is one of the trades that I took. Pretty clean trade. So I took it around there. It started moving pretty well, and then next thing, boom, performed really well. And if I close that, and I'll scroll up a bit, and I'll show you how the trade just kept on going. And the trade just kept on going and going and going and going and going. So it's a very, very good trade that I took. So in this video, I'm literally going to be talking about why I took the trade and how you guys can actually use the same strategy. If you guys really want, you can follow my Twitter. I actually recommend you follow my Twitter. You can actually get to know the trades that I will be getting involved in, the markets that I'm looking at, and why. And you can actually see some of the fundamentals that I'm constantly retweeting. So people can actually understand what's actually really, really going on in the market. So one of the guys that I follow is this guy here. I mean, he is literally one of he understands the market very well, and sometimes you can actually have a conversation with these guys and ask them anything that you want to know. But if you ask them what currency should I buy, they're probably not going to answer that. But I mean, in terms of understanding how the market is working, they are really they are pros. They are really good guys. So I've got a few people that I follow. If I scroll up, I've got like 274 analysts that I follow, and these guys really did help my trading. That's why I said I don't really recommend people buying a course. You can really learn a lot about trading, and I even follow some live squawk as well here, where they're talking about different stuff like it's like a live school. So they're talking about market conditions, what's changing and what's not changing and whatnot. Okay, so the next part is, why did I take the Canadian JPY? Okay, the reason why I took the Canadian JPY, the main reason behind it is fundamental reasons purely. Okay, I don't look at the Fibonacci or volume or moving averages. I purely don't look at it. I basically look at fundamentals and the market sentiment for that currency. Okay, so for the Canadian dollar, I don't know if some of you guys do follow any fundamentals, but there were talks about tapering. Okay, so on Twitter here, this was on the 25th of April, which was last Saturday. Or Sunday, one of those weekends it was. I made a thread for central bank overview update. Okay, so everything that's mentioned by central banks and whatnot, I put it on this little thread that I make. If there's new information that comes out, I delete it and update it. Okay, so and this is pinned, or it's a pinned tweet, so it's actually right at the top always. So on the Bank of Canada, policy rates remain unchanged, but cuts assets purchasing to 3 billion per week. So there was a tapering there was a tapering process that was actually happening within the Bank of Canada that gave me the confidence to write, okay, tapering is coming in. The Bank of Canada is probably one of the first central banks to start applying tapering and cutting down their asset purchasing. So when I heard that information, basically what I saw this big jump. So this candle here popped off. It was a reaction to that tapering that was announced by the Bank of Canada. And then I said, right, because I like trading ranges. So this range formed. Okay, this range formed. Now we're getting technical. This range formed. And when I saw this range forming and price struggling to push lower, I mean, this was from the 21st. I mean, it just kept on going and going. So when I saw this range forming and I'm seeing price not even pushing lower, I took a trade around these levels here. I took it for buys and the trade went ahead and performed. And it was probably one of the best performing trade that week. So that was purely based on the fundamentals that the policy rates, the asset purchasing was about to get reduced by the Bank of Canada. So I've got BOC here, as you can see, and some news about ECB as well, but that doesn't matter. And the reason why I chose the Japanese yen was obviously BOJ came out as well. Central bank still maintaining its dovish stance, which means they're still remaining accommodative to their currency. And there was a new wave of COVID restrictions coming in. Monetary policy remained unchanged. So these were the two good pairs to put together. I can't think of the word I can actually use to actually explain what it was. So it was like a strong versus weak. Okay, so these Bank of Canada is tapering. Bank of Japan is still being accommodative, and that actually allowed me to say, right, this is the trade I'm going to be taking. So I went ahead and took Canadian JPY, and you can see the trade performed really well. If you go on media, you can see here, I mean, it was a very good trade. I probably banked about 11% on this trade. And let's talk about prop firms. This include prop firms. You're supposed to make 10% for you to get funded and whatnot. And so if you guys are FTMO traders or fivers, or mainly fivers, I really focus on people that are doing fivers, because I'm a swing trader and a fundamental trader, so I like to be involved when the news is kicking in. I like to stay in that trade. So if you're looking to join a prop firm, FTMO or fivers, or any of them that are out there, feel free, just hit a follow button, man. Come and follow me on Twitter, and you can see some of the updates, some of the things that I retweet. Because sometimes I retweet these things for myself, not just for not just for like I don't retweet nonsense. I retweet things that are actually market moving. Okay. Right, so the next part is the week ahead. Okay, so we've got a very busy week ahead. I mean, fundamentally strong. I mean, we've got on the Monday, 3rd of May, we have a bank holiday in China and a bank holiday in Japan. That means it's going to be a quiet Asian session. The Australian bank is going to be open and the New Zealand bank is going to be open, and we also have a bank holiday in the UK as well. So it's gonna be a quiet Asia session and a quiet, very quiet European slash London session, but we might see some moves in the New York session. I do remember a few weeks ago we did have a bank holiday in the UK, but boy, the New York session just came in and it did what it did. Because we do have Fed Chair Powell coming out speaking as well, FOMC member here speaking as well, ISM manufacturing prices here as well. We have a PMI, a final manufacturing PMI, Canadian dollar PMI. We also have PMIs from the European side, from Germany, France, and in Italy and Spain, and retail sales from Germany as well. So we do have a busy day on Monday. Taking a look at Tuesday as well, bank holiday for China and Japan. So that's going to be a very quiet Asia session again for people that just focus on day trading. But if you're a swing trader, it won't really affect you that much. So yeah, so we've got RBA statement from Australia, New Zealand, unemployment and employment change. So employment news from that side, and we've got trade balance from the US and Canada. But one of the key events that's really, really coming up, which let's ignore Monday, ignore what's happening on Monday. I mean, on Monday we have the PMIs coming from the US, and that's a very, very important news. And we also have some PMIs coming from the European side. But we also have RBA state statement. So that's the Bank of RBA, Royal Bank of Australia. Very important. Cash rate as well. Very, very, very important. And employment news from the New Zealand. That's pretty much important as well. And yeah, financial stability report from New Zealand as well. Very important. On Wednesday as well, we've got RBNZ coming out speaking. The governor coming out having a speech. A speech again at 2:10. I'll be late at night. And EU economic forecast, ADP, FOMC, final services PMI as well. And we have Bank of Canada, a speech coming from Bank of Canada, very, very important. But one of the key things, but I'm not really seeing this, is on the 6th of May. Okay, right. This is a very, very important event, right? This is very, very important. I've got my eyes on this because I'm pretty much bullish on the British pound. Okay, so we've got my watch list. I'm very, very bullish on the British pound. I mean, I know you guys are probably looking and say, yo, it's dropping crazy, but I'm still bullish on this British pound. Why am I bullish on the British pound? Because of the reopening, the vaccination rollout, and the economy has just been improving in the United Kingdom to the point where there might be tapering talks from the Bank of England. Okay, so there might be tapering talks coming from the Bank of England. So if I go back to, where was I again? Yeah, okay, Forex Factory. So yeah, the official bank rate coming out, and monetary policy coming out from the BOE, and asset purchase facility coming from the UK as well. So that is very, 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 very important. I am going to be eyeing up this fundamental with my big eyes, just staring at the screen, making sure that we get something that's very market moving from this event. It might not be market moving, but it's a very important event that's coming regarding the British pound for those that are very bullish on the British pound, because fundamentals are supporting the British pound. It's a currency that is what can I say, that is that's been one of the top performers in during the lockdown. And people are still heavily bullish for it's alongside the US. The UK has been on top of its game in terms of the vaccination rollout. So but then again, that's when I say again, purposely just focusing on the fundamentals. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about the Fibonacci saying this. I don't care what the moving average is saying. It's, for me, it's all about data. I'm a data trader, purely trade based on data. So on Friday, big day as well. We have ECB, President Lagarde coming out speaking, MPC, broadband speaking as well, and we have Canadian employment change and unemployment. So we've got employment numbers coming in, and NFP, very, very important, and our employment rate coming from the US dollar. and IV PMI coming from the CAD. So the key events that are really coming out is NFP, the BOE, and some of the RBA news as well. Inflation expectations coming from the New Zealand. So to be honest, to put it in perspective, guys, it's a very busy week that's coming ahead. Very busy fundamentally. You're going to see a lot of movements coming into the market. I mean, we've got the PMI as well, China Kexin services coming in as well, and that kind of supports. I mean, it becomes a positive that kind of does have a supporting a factor on our commodity currencies. So yeah, so that's another thing that's very very important that's coming up. So yeah, so one of the trades that I'm really focusing on is GBP Swiss franc. This is on the daily time frame. I mean, if I see the same reaction like I saw on CAD after the BOE news. I mean, let's go back to the BOE news area so it makes sense. Okay, so let's go Thursday. Okay, here we go on the 6th. So when this event is happening at 12 p.m. UK time, my time, and then I see a reaction coming in that's very, very bullish, I will be looking into taking this thing for buys. However, if it continues dropping, I'll just have to wait because I'll still be very, very bullish on the pound, but I'll just have to wait for the right catalyst to move it. Okay, so that's Euro pound there. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm gonna have to go get the charger for this laptop. Just stay with me. Okay, sorry about that. I'm gonna have to edit it out. I'm not a very good editor, so I don't think I'll be able to edit it out. To be honest, guys, I'm gonna have to find out how to do that. But yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to go get this charger for this laptop. Okay, so coming back to this. So yeah, it's Euro pound as well. That's another one I'm looking at as well, mainly. But I'm very skeptical about taking Euro pound. I'll have to do more research. I mean, it's going to depend on how well the vaccination rollout in Europe is going and how many people they're vaccinating. And people are basically talking about it, they're calling it the catch-up trade, the euro, that it's going to catch up and it's going to perform really well. So I'm very skeptical about taking euro pound. I'm very, very prone and in favor of my GBP Swiss franc. That's the one I'm very much interested in taking. Another one that I really want to talk about is we did have some GDP news that came out in the US this week. Let me just wait for this internet to load. What's going on with this internet? Okay, let me just reload. Okay, here we go. So we did have some news that came out on some GDP news that came out. I don't remember what day it came out, but let me take a look where the GDP came out. Okay, so we did have some GDP news that came out. So it was expected at 6.8% and it came out at 6.4%. So it was below expectations. The advanced GDP came out positive. The unemployment claims came out negative. Pending home sales came out negative. So we did have a mixed amount of data here. So, however, a lot of people would expect the US dollar to have performed really bad, but unfortunately it didn't. The main reason why this thing performed really, really well is because the Fed, Robert Kaplan, came in and he said the Fed should start talking about tapering bond buying soon. Okay, so having changed my view that rates should start to rise in 2022. Okay, so after that market fundamental came out, the US dollar index edged modestly higher on this remarks and was last seen gaining 0.33 on the day at 90.93. So you can take a look at this. You can clearly see what happened, the impact that it did. It did have an impact. So what you could potentially expect is to see people actually buying into the tapering rumors. So the buy the rumor, sell the fact. You might see people start buying into the tapering rumor. So it's a rumor that's starting to escalate, and people are going to be all eyes on it. I'm personally going to be all eyes on it. And my favorite trade that I like to trade when treasury yields start rising is US dollar Japanese yen. But firstly, let's just open up the yields tab. Look on US dollar and look at US 10-year yields. Okay, so one thing that I really like to trade is the yields. Okay, so if they continue performing, well, I don't like trading the yields, but one thing I like to pay attention to alongside the dollar index is the yields. So by the trade that I'll be looking to take that has strong correlation with the yields is the US dollar Japanese yen. If we're seeing some support, I'll be looking to get involved to buy this. As you can see, I already have this trade in my watch list. So if it comes back to this area here, I'll be looking to get involved for buys, because I think that's a rumor in terms of not the GDP, but in terms of the rumors of tapering coming from the Fed. And also alongside that, Monday we're going to have Fed Chair Powell coming out and talking. Another one to look at is gold. Gold sales will be proper good if the rumor starts kicking in that tapering is coming. So you might see gold dropping further down. That's another one to get involved as well. So you can be pretty much bearish on gold and be bullish on US dollar Japanese yen. So yeah, so that's what I'm looking at for this week, guys. We've looked at the events that are coming up. We've looked at this. We've looked at Twitter as well. We've looked at the trades that I've taken. I highly recommend you guys to come and follow my Twitter. Yeah, let's get this to at least a few numbers. I will make sure that all the information that I'll be reposting and sharing will be valuable information that you guys can also use in your trading. Okay, because you can already see here, I already retweeted this. Fed Kaplan views unchanged. Rate hike should start in 2026 and imbalance in financial markets. Should start talking about tapering bond buying soon. So I'd already retweeted this. So anyone that follows me actually got a chance to see that. So guys, hit the follow button on Twitter. Like this video, please. Subscribe. Comment if you have any questions. I would love that. And subscribe for more information. I'll honestly be doing this week aheads every other week. Okay? So thank you guys. Take care and have a good weekend.